Now, when can you say that someone is having postpartum depression or postnatal depression? You have to look that after 2 weeks if the woman or the mother has not bounced back. When we look at the signs and symptoms, you will lose interest in pleasurable activities.
Okay.
And we know that engaging in also the person can, after delivery, if you don't want to having the baby blues and you don't want it to lead to postpartum depression, you can't rest, have enough rest. Any sexual activity is something pleasurable. And once you are experiencing this disorder and you are losing interest in pleasurable activities, definitely you will not enjoy any sexual performance. So the risk factors, first of all, is genetics. And in a situation where the woman have complications during the delivery, the woman, it can put stress on the mind.
Welcome again, viewers, to another amazing episode. We have heard of postnatal depression. People talk about it, people discuss it, but most of the time we just scratch the surface. We really don't understand what it's all about. So what we're going to do today is not only to attempt to define it, we want to look at the risk factors, the signs, the symptoms, and advice on how to seek medical help. So with me here again is Joshua. He's a mental health personnel, and he's going to help us as we delve deep into this topic. Joshua, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's go into it. What is postnatal depression?
So when we say postnatal depression, in psychiatric setting or mental health, it is the same as postpartum depression. So as the name says, postpartum depression, after delivery depression. So is it a mental disorder that occurs after you deliver or after you give birth? Yes, so that is postnatal depression, and it is characterized by mood swings, loss of appetite, sleeping disturbances, and also you have persistent sadness. So all these are some of the signs and symptoms that will come when you are suffering from postnatal depression.
All right. So most women, after delivering a child, it can be the first, it can be the second, it can be last, for some reasons,
Yes.
which you will come to later, they
Yes.
develop this kind of depression.
Yes.
They are not happy. They are not motivated to do anything, including looking after their child.
Yes.
And they are not interested in anything that makes them happy or interactive.
Yes.
All right.
So we have what we call baby blues.
Baby blues.
Yes,
Okay.
and the baby blues look similar as postpartum depression, but the baby blues is normal. It can last for 2 weeks after delivery, and it's because of the hormonal imbalances that occur where when a woman is pregnant, your estrogen and progesterone drops down. When immediately you give birth, it drops down.
Okay.
Yes, so that causes the baby blues, and they exhibit the same signs and symptoms as postpartum depression. Now, when can you say that someone is having postpartum depression or postnatal depression? You have to look that after 2 weeks if the woman or the mother has not bounced back to normal. That is when you can say the mother is having postpartum depression or postnatal depression. But in our psychiatric setting, when it comes to diagnosing someone with postpartum depression or postnatal depression, it has to take at least 2 weeks. And we know that baby blues have to last for 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks, you have to look out for postpartum depression. That means the woman is trying to develop postnatal depression. Yes.
All right. Okay. I'm loving what you're saying so that there will be a distinction. So nobody will just say just after they give birth and they have
Yes.
this low energy, they
Yes.
don't feel like engaging, they don't rush to say.
Yes.
What you're saying, the baby blues you're talking about, is that it happens to almost every woman.
Yes.
And because the hormonal level is dropped, but after 2 weeks, when that is ruled out
Yes.
and the symptoms that you just described persist, it means that is a
Postpartum
postpartum
depression.
depression. Okay, okay. So, what are the risk factors?
So the risk factors, first of all, is genetics. And in mental health sector, mental disorders runs through family. So if you have a relative that is having depression or postpartum depression, the person is likely to develop depression after birth. And if the woman also have a history of depression, it can also lead to depression after birth. And we'll talk about the hormonal imbalances, where we can also talk about excessive thyroid hormones. Yes, so when there is hyperthyroidism, it can also cause postpartum depression. And when estrogen and progesterone drops down, it can also cause that. And we have neurotransmitters, the dopamine and the serotonin. The serotonin play a key role when it comes to depression. So when there is decreased level, low level of serotonin, neurotransmitter, it can also lead to postpartum depression. And when it's decreased level of dopamine, it can also lead to that. But before the mother can get stabilized mood, the dopamine and the serotonin should have a threshold before the mother can't recover. Yes, that's why when you come to psychiatric setting, they have to give you certain drugs that will increase your serotonin level to the threshold where you can have a stabilized mood, where you can have energy, where you can bounce back or recover.
Okay, so this genetic thing is a major factor, right?
Yes,
And it's something that women should watch out for.
yes,
That if they have a history in the family of someone going through or experience depression, they should
yes,
be aware of it and they watch out for it.
yes.
That's important.
And to
Yeah.
add, certain environmental stresses like like loss of loved ones, financial crisis, marital problems, divorce, trauma, all this can also lead the person to that. And in a situation where the woman have complications during the delivery, the woman, it can put stress on the mind and it can develop that. And also certain substances, someone who is having substance abuse syndrome can also develop that, especially alcoholism within the pregnancy. And after the pregnancy, it can also have effect on the child and the mother as well. So all these environmental stresses can also result in that. And most women, when they get pregnant, some are unplanned.
Okay.
Yes, pregnancies, and they tend to think over and over and over. So it can also have effect on you when you deliver, and it can result in postnatal depression.
Yeah, this point that you said makes sense because imagine you didn't plan the pregnancy. Now you're pregnant.
Yes.
And maybe you don't even know who impregnated you.
Yes.
And the family is also stressing you out. You brought shame, you brought disgrace. Society's tagging you because of that. You're not financially empowered to look after. So just thinking about what you're going through and what's going to be the outcome and the future of you and this baby and your dreams and your goals can lead you to a place where you are stressed out. And
Yes.
if care is not taken, you're saying that after giving birth, they will develop postpartum depression.
Yes.
Okay, so you've talked about the signs and we looked at the risk factor. So how does it affect sexual intimacy? How does it affect sex drive?
So when we look at the signs and symptoms, you will lose interest in pleasurable activities.
Okay.
And we know that engaging in any sexual activity is something pleasurable. And once you are experiencing this disorder and you are losing interest in pleasurable activities, definitely you will not enjoy any sexual performance. You will not even have any sexual thoughts. Yes. And also, you are being preoccupied by this sadness, this irritability, and it's going to affect your communication. So, when there is poor communication, where you have to talk to your partner about certain needs and certain sexual needs, you will not do that. So it's going to affect that. And with the hormonal imbalances that we talked about, it's going to result you in having low energy and all that. And depression itself is going to put stress on you. And when you are stressed out, your body will prioritize rest instead of enjoying anything pleasurable. So in this case, it can affect your sex drive. Yes.
So that means that it is something that needs to be resolved,
Yes.
especially so when you notice that this is what is happening after you rule out the baby blues, because you talked about the hormones, they're already low already.
Yes.
You talked about not wanting to do anything pleasurable.
Yes.
And so imagine the husband might demand intimacy
Yes.
and you never dare. If that is not resolved, it brings about a misunderstanding,
Yes.
it brings about infidelity,
Yes.
and you just compound your problem. Already you're depressed.
Yes.
And now you have a husband who is
Yes.
cheating on
Yes.
you, and it makes it really bad. Yeah. So it does affect your sex drive,
Yeah.
it does affect intimacy. So what are some of the things that you can recommend to say if someone is going through this? Because you talk about the external factors, the genetic factors, what are some of the things that you can recommend on how to get help with this issue?
Very good. So when a mother gives birth, or even during the pregnancy, the husband or the partner have to assist the woman in doing certain things, like house chores, and also going to work, coming back to cook. It will be very stressful. So if you can't do that, you can get someone, a relative or a family member, to also come in and help. When they are able to help till the woman delivers, it can also prevent the woman from getting the postpartum depression. Yes, and also the person can, after delivery, if you don't want to having the baby blues and you don't want it to lead to postpartum depression, you can't rest, have enough rest. The husband should allow the woman have enough rest, also provide food for the woman. The woman can also exercise. And our previous videos, we talk about some of the hormones that are released when you exercise, like cycling, like swimming, taking a walk. These endorphins are released. And we know that these endorphins also have a role with social bonding, or the oxytocin also have a role of social bonding, promoting realization. So when you exercise, all these hormones are going to release, and it's going to help you enhance mood, promote quality sleep, relieve stress. So it's good to exercise as well. You can also practice meditation, as I said in the previous, and also exercise relaxation techniques in the house. Deep breathing, you can do that. And what I would say is that partners and husband should also play a role, because having postnatal depression is very serious. Family members, relatives also have a role to play. They have to come and assist the woman caring for the newborn baby, and also doing responsibilities it's very tedious for the woman, and it can worsen the postnatal depression. So all the family, those who are around, surrounding the woman can come in, assist her in doing other works as well. And I will recommend that when it becomes severe, when it reaches postnatal depression, at that moment it's very severe. So you visit the nearest psychiatric hospital for treatment. They can put you on medications, antidepressants like TCA, amitriptyline, nortriptyline, and other drugs as well. It can also help you, and you can also go for therapies. Yes, therapies can also help, including cognitive behavioral therapy. So all this can help in resolving postnatal depression.
All right, I see that what you talked about, if I'm going to sum it up, I would say social support is
Yes,
very important.
yes,
Because if you have an environment that comes together to support the mother that has just given birth, to assist them to recover,
yes,
and also to support in raising up that child, to support in looking after the baby and do chores in the home. So social support is very, very important. And husbands should have an understanding and be accommodative with these changes that happen when they give birth. Because sometimes babies cries a lot. You have to wake up in the night, they have a day.
yes,
So you don't expect the wife to do all the chores and then cook for you, and then you just come and sit and enjoy. So what
yes,
you're saying, let there be a social support, let there be an environment that is created that the mother can recover and also be able to look after the unborn child.
yes,
Yes, and you talked about exercise,
yes,
healthy eating. You talked about relaxing and also have this positive thought. I
yes,
see affirmation. So imagine somebody affirming you that, oh, this is a delicate period. You are precious. We are happy about you. We are here to support you. If you need help, just let us know. Just hearing those things also help a lot, isn't
yes,
it?
it helps,
Yeah,
it helps.
it helps a lot. So you're also saying that it's not something that we should sit down and just say, okay, I think we can manage it. When after 2 weeks the symptoms persist, you're recommending that we should seek help, and we should
Yes,
seek it fast. Because
yes,
if care is not taken, it's going to spiral out of control
yes,
and it will affect people.
yes.
What's your last word as we wrap up this session? What's your last word to the people?
So before I end,
Okay.
I want us to take postnatal depression very serious. It's very common, and a lot of women are battling with postnatal depression. And we should always check them. We should always monitor people who are having postnatal depression. At certain point, they can have suicidal thoughts. So we need to monitor them very, very well. If not, they will take their life, or they might kill themselves. So we need to take it very serious. And once we see these symptoms or signs, we have to help them. We don't have to ignore them. We don't have to isolate ourselves from them. And we should stop stigmatizing them. It can affect them from not going for medical treatment or seeking professional assistance. So we need to encourage these people and help them seek treatment.
Thank you so much. That's so important. What you just end on that note that we should take it seriously. So many people just take it for granted that any woman that gives birth can be okay. But from what you just said is that genetically there are factors that are a risk for individuals. And when these things happen, external factors, genetic factors, we should be aware of them. And we should provide a supportive environment for the mother. Social support is very important. Seek professional help. Don't stigmatize people. It can affect intimacy, it can destroy relationship, and it can ruin lives if care is not taken. So I want you to take this seriously. It is real, it is treatable, it can be prevented, and there is help available. This is Sex in the Temple, and my name is Monique.